back. Well, Donald Trump's trade war has begun after the president announced a 25% additional tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico and 10% on imports from China.
But it didn't take long for Canadian PM Justin Trudeau to respond with his own tariffs.
I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods.
Joining us now is Brad Polumbo from the Brad vs. Everyone podcast. Brad, good to see you as always. I've got to say, get your popcorn ready. How do you see this playing out?
Well, it's going to be dramatic, that's for sure, but I'm actually really worried about where this is going. I'm not sure a full trade war will be good for anybody. I mean, one of the biggest reasons that people voted for Trump is that they were sick of years of the high cost of living, of inflation that was breaking every American family's budget, but especially the ones struggling to get by. But now these Trump tariffs on especially the ones on Mexico and Canada, they'll make cost of goods and services go up for Americans. Trump even kind of admitted that because he put a lower tariff on energy imports, saying because we don't want the price to go up too much, which is implicitly admitting that everything else from foodstuffs to electronics to chemicals to transportation equipment and beyond will get more expensive because of these tariffs. So when Trump has used tariffs as a negotiating tool, it has worked sometimes in recent memory even. But as a broad-based economic measure, I'm worried they're going to hurt many of the same people he's trying to help.
Well, I tell you something Trump has done, Brad, that I like. He's instructed all federal workers to remove any reference to their identifying pronouns from their email signatures. And maybe he's onto something, because I note that former Transport Secretary Pete Buttigieg has removed pronouns from his social media bio. You can see on screen here before the election, he's got his pronouns listed, but after the election, they're suddenly gone. Maybe people are getting the message, Brad.
Yes, I put it like this. I said, nature is healing. The insanity is coming to an end inside and out of the federal government. And look, whenever you see somebody listing their pronouns in their email signature or what have you, that's a red flag that that person comes from an extreme ideological perspective. Some people just do it because they're forced to by their boss or whatever. But oftentimes it's a good sign that the person you're dealing with is going to be unpleasant in myriad ways. And some people are saying it's a free speech issue, but I don't really buy that. It's about your workplace communications. You can't just say whatever you want, and you can't have political slogans and flags just on display while you're working for the federal government. And to me, pronouns in bio is basically a political slogan saying, I voted for Kamala and I'm kind of annoying. So I think it's a good thing if employees maybe don't lead with that in their email signatures in the federal government or outside of it, honestly.
I voted for Kamala and I'm just annoying has to be one of the great lines. I think that's absolutely spot on. Now, Brad, Donald Trump is blaming DEI for the Washington plane crash. Did he jump the gun on this, or is he actually right?
Well, I think that he's jumping the gun applying this to this specific situation. We need more facts before we can say for sure what caused this horrible incident. But the disturbing thing is that there's some real truth to the accusation that the FAA, the Federal Aviation Agency here in the U.S., has implemented DEI. They specifically, under the Obama administration, had a whole program they're being sued over where they excluded qualified candidates and enacted a bizarre personality test to rule people out, then funneled the answers to more diverse applicants to try to jerry-rig a more diverse workforce in the FAA and air traffic control at the expense of merit. That's insane just in any position, but especially in one where life and death is at stake. So I think Trump jumped the gun applying it to this situation, but there's a real problem here that needs to be addressed, and real soon.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing it right through the institutions, not just in the US, but certainly here in Australia, Brad. We've got all sorts of problems with DEI. It's good to see Trump actually making some moves to fix it. Even if he's not always spot on with his target, the broader argument is, of course, very well made. Brad Polumbo, always great to talk to you. Thanks for helping us make sense of America.